Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking centuries of whispers, wild rumors, and tall tales and completely flipping the script. We are going to transform all that speculation into a crystal clear understanding by looking at the actual, hard science behind the world's most feared stretch of ocean, the infamous Bermuda Triangle. So, if you've ever found yourself wondering what's genuinely happening out there in the dark waters of the Atlantic, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get started.
Okay, let's dive right into this with a cold, hard look at a region where countless ships and planes have just vanished, without a single trace. For decades, the public has been absolutely obsessed with this. Are we talking about some sci-fi portal to another dimension, extraterrestrial activity, or is there a totally rational natural explanation just waiting beneath the surface? To figure that out, we have to strip away the Hollywood blockbusters and the paperback thrillers and look strictly at the data. Which brings us to Section 1. The Legend of the Triangle, a mystery with no borders. To really get this myth, we first have to establish exactly what and where this place actually is. And here's the truly wild part. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, this infamous region doesn't even have official boundaries on a map. Think about that for a second. We have this globally recognized hazard zone, a place that literally strikes fear into the hearts of sailors and pilots, yet officially, it doesn't even exist. It's essentially this loosely defined triangle generally stretching between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. But because it has no recognized borders, the area can conveniently expand or contract depending on whoever happens to be telling the ghost story.
But you know, the lore runs deep, like really deep. We can actually trace the eerie reputation of these waters all the way back to 1492 through the actual journals of Christopher Columbus. During his first voyage, Columbus recorded strange lights in the distance and, more importantly, bizarre compass readings as he sailed through this exact region. For anyone looking for a supernatural explanation, Columbus's logs are basically patient zero for the whole phenomenon. But as we'll soon see, Columbus was really just the first person to document a perfectly natural oceanic cork.
Moving right along to Section 2, the anatomy of a mystery, disappearances and theories. Over the centuries, those historical oddities blossomed into a full-blown phenomenon of silence and pure speculation. When you look at the most mysterious disappearances in this area, they almost all share these common, chilling traits. We're talking about modern aircraft abruptly vanishing from radar screens in broad daylight. We see massive cargo ships lost to the depths without a single distress signal ever going out. And, arguably the most frustrating part of all for investigators, zero wreckage recovered. It's exactly this lack of evidence, the empty blank space where a tragedy occurred, that allows human imagination to just run wild, filling the void with theories ranging from severe natural weather events to full-blown paranormal interventions.
It's fascinating to look at the stark contrast between the wild conspiracy theories we naturally gravitate toward and the cold, hard, natural factors that are actually at play. On one hand, you've got the pop culture narrative, supernatural forces, UFO abductions, the whole Atlantis folklore shebang. But on the other hand, you have the reality of marine science, localized magnetic anomalies, the overwhelming, brutal power of the Gulf Stream, and rapid, severe weather changes. The real battle between myth and science is fought right here.
That takes us to Section 3, Natural Forces at Work, the Science of the Sea.
Let's totally ditch the folklore for a minute and see how science brilliantly illustrates what's actually happening beneath the waves. To understand the navigation failures, we have to go back to basics. Taking some great insights from live science, we can see exactly how local magnetic anomalies in this specific region can easily confuse a perfectly functioning compass. Remember, a compass relies on a magnetized needle aligning with the Earth's magnetic fields to point toward magnetic north. But here's the catch. The Earth's magnetic field is not perfectly uniform. There are local anomalies. And the area around the Bermuda Triangle happens to be one of the rare places on Earth where true north and magnetic north actually align. If a navigator doesn't account for this specific naturally occurring magnetic variation, they can easily find themselves hundreds of miles off course, completely lost in open water.
Now add to those magnetic disruptions the dominant physical forces of the region, and man, you have a recipe for natural disaster. This region is home to the Gulf Stream. Think of it as a massive, incredibly swift underwater river that can quickly carry wreckage miles and miles away from a disaster site before rescue crews can even get out there. Plus, the Caribbean Atlantic area is just absolutely notorious for sudden, severe oceanic storms, rapidly changing atmospheric conditions, and the terrifying reality of rogue waves. We're talking massive, spontaneous walls of water that can capsize a huge ship in seconds, leaving literally no time for a crew to send a distress signal.
And that brings us to Section 4, the statistical reality, shrinking the myth. Once we understand the violent, very real natural forces at work out there, we've got to ask the ultimate question. Is this region actually deadlier than anywhere else in the world? Well, this brings us to the statistical truth, grounded in the Alliance Safety and Shipping Review 2024, which completely reshapes how we view the danger. You see, the Bermuda Triangle sits right smack in the middle of one of the most heavily traveled shipping lanes on the entire planet. Every single day, thousands of commercial ships, cruise liners, and private yachts pass through these waters. When you use global shipping data to contextualize that sheer volume of traffic, the supposed danger simply evaporates. Statistically speaking, the Bermuda Triangle is absolutely no deadlier than any other heavily navigated ocean route on Earth.
In fact, to put that into perspective, when you look at global shipwrecks as a whole, only a strikingly low 1% actually occur in the Bermuda Triangle. Just 1%. If there was some localized supernatural force swallowing vessels whole, you would absolutely expect a massive statistical spike in this specific area. But the data just doesn't show it. The math simply does not support the myth.
This is just a brilliant reality check. Comparing the Bermuda Triangle to other major global routes reveals that while traffic volume is very high for both, the relative danger level is identical. It sits right at the normal baseline. It's pretty straightforward. More traffic simply means a higher mathematical probability of accidents. It's the exact same reason there are more car crashes on a packed, busy highway than on a quiet country dirt road. There isn't a magical curse on the highway, right? There are just more cars.
So, as reports from the independent and leading marine scientists worldwide have repeatedly highlighted, the mystery is effectively solved when you replace eager speculation with empirical data and marine science. Between the swift Gulf Stream wiping away wreckage, unpredictable rogue waves, local magnetic anomalies confusing compasses, and the massive amount of daily traffic, the disappearances are entirely explainable. Science has illuminated the dark corners of the triangle, proving that nature itself is formidable enough. We literally don't need to invent sea monsters or alien tractor beams. So, as we wrap up this explainer and leave the legends behind, the most fascinating mystery left to solve isn't really about the ocean at all. It's about us. Why does our human nature crave a paranormal story so much more than a scientific truth? Why are we so eager to abandon logic just for the thrill of the unknown? The next time you hear a wild theory, ask yourself, are you actually looking for the truth, or are you just looking for a good story? Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep questioning the world around you, and I will catch you in the next explainer.